Section 6. Theories in Group Dynamics. Introduction. In this study session, we will examine the theoretical perspectives in group dynamics. We will also discuss the theories of group dynamics. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Appraise the theoretical perspectives in group dynamics. 2. Describe at least 3 theories of group dynamics. Theoretical perspectives in group dynamics. Successful researchers do not just develop ingenious methods for measuring group processes and test their hypotheses. In addition, they also develop compelling theoretical explanations for group phenomena. Theories provide the means of organizing known facts about groups and so create orderly knowledge out of discrete bits of information. Theories also yield suggestion for future research. A theory is a systematic set of interrelated statements intended to explain some aspect of social life or enrich our sense of how people conduct and find meaning in their daily lives. Robin and Babel, 1997. According to Baker, 1999, a theory is a proposed explanation for a set of coordinated occurrences or relationships. It is a set of related statements that explain and predict phenomena. Schwiegert, 1994. The statements used in theory can be laws, principles, or beliefs. Theories of group dynamics. The following theories serve as basis for group dynamics. They are 1. Motivational models. Some people vie for leadership in their groups, while others remain content with less prominent roles. Similarly, some groups struggle against adversity, while others give up at the first setback. The force behind these behaviors is simply motivational force. According to Ginn, 1995, habits, goals, instincts, expectations, and drives prompt group members to take actions. Therefore, motivations such as wants, needs, and other psychological processes energize certain responses, prompting people to respond in one way rather than other. One of the motivational theories that are discussed here is Kurt Lewin's level of aspiration theory. Kurt Lewin's aspiration theory is at its core a motivational model, for it explains how people set goals for themselves and their groups. Lewin et al., 1944. The theory assumes that people enter achievement situations with an ideal outcome in mind. For example, earning high grade A, or scoring high mark in a course of study, or making huge amounts of money over time. However, people may revise their expectations as they repeatedly fail to succeed in reaching their ideals. Lewin used the term level of aspiration, LOA, to describe this compromise between ideal goals and more realistic expectations. The LOA theory has been applied to groups, Zarda, 1996. He applied the theory to groups by studying how individual members set goals for their groups and how they revise their goals after each group's success or failure. He found that when group members complete a task, they expend considerable mental energy reviewing their efforts and outcomes. They gather and weigh information about their performance and determine if they met the group's standards. They review the strategies they use to accomplish their task and determine if these strategies require revision. They also plan their future undertakings, ever mindful of the long-term goals they have set for themselves. Zander, 1996, found that a group's LOA often slightly exceeds individual members' LOA. Groups also raise their LOAs more after success than they lower it after failure, and that some group members set themselves up for failure by setting overly optimistic goals. Behavioral approaches. Many theories of group behavior are consistent with B.F. Skinner's 1953-1971 behaviorism. Skinner believed that psychological processes such as motives and drives may shape people's reaction in groups. He also believed that such psychological processes are difficult to index accurately. As a result of this, he recommended studying the things that people actually do rather than the psychological states that may have instigated the action. He believed that actions tend to be consistent with the law of effect, that is, behaviors that are followed by positive consequences, such as rewards, will occur more frequently, whereas behaviors that are followed by negative consequences will become rarer. Thibault and Kelly's 1959 social exchange theory extended Skinner's behaviorism to groups. They agree that individuals hedonistically strive to maximize their rewards and minimize their costs. However, when individuals join groups, they no longer control their outcomes. Groups create interdependence among members so that the actions of each group member potentially influence the outcomes and actions of every other group member. System theories. A system is a set of interacting units with relationship among them. The system approach assumes that groups are systems of interacting individuals. Just as a system receives input from the environment, processes this information through internal communication, and then outputs its products, groups likewise gather information, review that information, and generate products. Groups are also capable of formulating goals and working towards these goals through united action, and group members are responsive to environmental feedback concerning the efficacy of other actions. The communication of information, a key concept in system theory, plays a central role in groups that must analyze inputs, provide feedback to members, and formulate decisions regarding group action. System theory provides a model for understanding a range of group-level processes, including group development, productivity, and interpersonal conflict. Tubbs, 1995. A systems approach to group productivity assumes that the multiple components of a group interact with one another over time. The model, as shown in the figure below, identifies those factors that act as input to the group processes that respond to those inputs, and the output generated by those processes. Systems theory. The systems theory is a general theoretical approach that assumes that groups are systems, that is, collection of individual units that combine to form an integrated complex whole. Cognitive approach. Group dynamics becomes more understandable when we consider the cognitive processes, e.g., thinking, wisdom, reasoning, perceptual abilities, value judgments, etc., that occurs within each individual in the group. For example, when people form a group for the first time, they immediately begin to form an impression of the group. This perceptual work prompts them to search for information about other group members, rapidly identifying those who are outgoing, shy, and intelligent. Albright et al., 1988. Group members also search their memories for stored information about the group and the task it must face, and retrieve that information before they can use it. They must also take note of the actions of others and try to understand what caused the other person to act the way he or she does. Thus, group members perceiving, judging, reasoning, and remembering are mental activities that influence their understanding of one another, the group, and themselves. Fiske and Godwin, 1994. A cognitive-based theory of group dynamics is the expectation states theory. The theory was proposed by Berger et al., 1992. The theory is a cognitive analysis of who will rise to the top of a group status hierarchy and who will fall to the bottom. The theory assumes that group members, while interacting with one another, intuitively take note of two types of cues as they allocate status within the group. The theory assumes that group members allocate status to members of the group who display positively valued rather than negatively valued status characteristics. There are status characteristics. These are 1. Specific status characteristics, which are qualities that attest to each individual's level of ability to perform the specific task at hand. 2. Diffuse status characteristics are general qualities that group members think are relevant to ability and evaluation. Any characteristics, e.g. sex, age, ethnicity, etc., can serve as a diffuse status characteristic if people associate that quality with certain skills. 3. Status earning characteristics. Some members of the group may possess numerous status earning characteristics. Such are identified and permitted to perform more numerous and varied group actions, to provide greater input and guidance for the group, to influence others by evaluating their ideas, and to reject the influence attempts of others. Biological models. Group members can solve complex problems, communicate with one another using spoken and written language, build and operate massive machines, and plan their group's future. However, they are also living creatures whose responses are often shaped by biological, biochemical, and genetic characteristics. One biological theory of group dynamics is the evolution theory or social biology. Evolution theory or social biology is a biological approach to understanding behavior. The theory argues that in the last 50 million years, the human species has evolved socially as well as physically. The theory assumes that through the process of natural selection, individuals who were even slightly predisposed to engage in adaptive social behaviors tend to survive longer and to be more successful in passing their genes along to future generations. However, over countless generations, this selection process weeded out individuals who lacked these predispositions, while those who possessed them prospered. The theory offers insight into a range of group prices, including affiliation, intergroup conflict, and aggression. It gives explanation of the tendency for many groups to struggle to maintain control over specific geographical areas. Study session summary. In this study session, we discussed that a theory can be defined as a systematic set of interrelated statements intended to explain some aspect of social life or enrich our sense of how people conduct or find meaning in their daily living. We also discussed some theories, motivational models, behavioral models, systemic theories, cognitive approach, and biological models. End of study section.